Hey everyone, it's Bad Metal 11 back with another commentary. Now I know it's been about 4 years since my last one, mainly because I've been lazy. I'll admit, doing playthroughs is easier, but I'm going to step up and work on bringing more commentaries in the near future. Without further ado, let's get into today's commentary. Today, I want to talk about why I believe Halo 4 is an underrated Halo game. Now, full disclaimer, what I'm about to discuss is based on my opinions as well as those of others. I'm completely open to acknowledging that the game does have its flaws, and I'll be sure to highlight those after talking about the good from each game mode. So, let's get started by talking about campaign. Let's kick things off by talking about the storytelling and character development in Halo 4 that I think stands out more from Halo 1 through 3. Halo 4 takes a bold step delving into Master Chief's humanity. We see him as more than just a super soldier. One of the game's strongest points is the willingness to explore the emotional complexity of Master Chief and Cortana's relationship. Their bond, which has been central throughout the series, takes a turn. We witness Master Chief grappling with emotions, showcasing vulnerability rarely seen before. Cortana's descent into rampancy, a condition plaguing AIs, adds a layer of urgency and sadness to their journey. The storytelling bravely navigates themes of morality, loyalty, and the toll of war on individuals. It humanizes Master Chief, reminding us that even heroes are not immune to the emotional strains of conflict. Moreover, the game introduces us to the Dissect, a villain whose motivations revolve around his hate for humanity that's completely different from the Prophets and the Great Journey. I think the Dissect has an understandable motivation. While he is not like Thanos from Infinity War, we can understand where the Dissect's motivation is coming from, and the introduction of the Prometheans offer a fresh challenge, requiring players to adapt their tactics. Now, while the campaign achieved some milestones, it wasn't without its missteps. One significant issue that drew criticism was the execution of the Dissect. Despite his menacing presence and ancient lore, some players felt like his character lacked the depth necessary to make him a truly compelling villain. The Dissect's motivations and backstory, while intriguing, it wasn't thoroughly explored within the game's narrative. This led to disconnect for players, as they struggle to emphasize and fully comprehend the reasoning behind his actions. Secondary characters were sidelined, lacking the same depth and impact. Characters like Captain Del Rio or Spartan Palmer, while present, didn't receive inadequate exploration or meaningful arcs within the narrative. Lastly, the game's departure from the established art style of the previous titles raised concerns. The visual redesign of the Covenant had mixed reactions. Some felt like the changes disrupted the established consistency of the series, but I think it's not too much of an issue because it was more of Joel Mendama's Covenant and not the one we've all come to love and know. Despite the flaws, I think Halo 4's campaign is a fun experience with the best graphics and cinematics in the series so far. Let's talk about innovation. Halo 4 introduced some exciting features that shook up the multiplayer formula. After Bungie introduced loadouts with armor abilities and reach, 343 stepped things up by offering a variety of perks to go along with it, which offered diverse gameplay options, empowering players to adapt their playstyles to various situations, and encouraging players to experiment with various combinations. Even the game's progression system, with its unlockable armor sets and weapon skins, gave players tangible goals to strive for. It kept the experience fresh and rewarding, motivating players to keep coming back for more. One of the things that I really liked about the multiplayer was that 343 made maps completely from scratch. They were not maps that took inspiration from the campaign or recycled like Reach did. Each map had its own distinct layout and design. Maps like Haven, Adrift showcased well thought out layouts that catered to different playstyles, promoting intense and strategic engagements. The game managed to strike a commendable balance between classic Halo mechanics and the new additions. The gunplay felt familiar, yet fresh, catering to both longtime fans and newcomers of the franchise. However, some elements faced criticism from the community. One of the major points was the balance issues between the armor abilities. While they brought variety, certain abilities like Promethean Vision and the active camouflage led to concerns about the potential gameplay imbalance and frustration. Not only that, the map rotation had some problems too, and this has been a problem since Reach. And like Reach, pretty much repetitive, gameplay experiences on the same maps over and over and over again. I myself remember every time I played, Haven was everybody's favorite map, and it's what everybody picked. And one thing I definitely do remember is there were times where there was ties on what map people wanted to play on, and the game would pick the first one. I felt like the game should have had a system where if there's a tie between two maps, people should decide on the two, and if it's a tie again, give us new options until a map wins the popular vote. And if all else fails, go back to the Halo 3 veto system. And last, while the loadout system offered customization, it too had some backlash. People thought it was a step away from the traditional Halo sandbox. People argued that this departure altered the core gameplay. People felt more like it was Call of Duty. I laugh when people say 343 was copying COD because many other games have loadouts. Bungie kinda tested the waters with Reach. I think Halo 4's multiplayer was taking more of its inspiration from Crysis multiplayer. And in defense of the loadouts, Halo had been doing the same thing for almost 10 years. The franchise was going to have to do something different to make the gameplay feel fresh, or Halo would have probably have suffered the same fate as Medal of Honor. Despite the flaws and the change to the mechanics, I think Halo 4's multiplayer is a fun, casual experience you could enjoy after school or getting off work. You can run solo or get a few friends together to have fun with. Now, when it comes to Forge, 343 ramped up the user interface, making it more intuitive and accessible for creators. The improved UI streamlined the navigation through menus and options, enhancing the overall user experience for both newcomers and experienced forgers. Not only that, there were more maps that added a variety of scenery to forge on. In Reach, while you could forge on different maps, the user was limited to Forge World. While Forge Island is small, at least it's a flat sandbox that allows the user to have more creative freedom. There isn't much in the way of flaws. Reach did, however, have more iconic custom games, features that people wanted, more advanced scripting options, and dynamic weather elements. It left some creators feeling that Forge mode fell short of fulfilling its complete potential. But I'd say Halo 4's Forge is about the same as Reach's with slight improvements, and it is good for a first-time user that wants to get into forging. Let's finish things up by talking about Spartan Ops. Spartan Ops brought a fresh, cooperative experience that expanded the game beyond its traditional boundaries. One of the commendable aspects of Spartan Ops was its narrative expansion. Spartan Ops continued the story beyond the main campaign, delving deeper into the post-war and introduced some new characters. Spartan Ops provided a thrilling experience for players looking to team up with friends or tackle missions alone. The varying difficulty levels catered to players of different skill levels, whether you were seeking a casual experience or a more challenging endeavor. Spartan Ops allowed for customization, ensuing a suitable level of challenge for all players. While the episodic release schedule aimed to maintain player engagement, the narrative pacing and depth of storytelling in Spartan Ops received mixed feedback. Some felt the story lacked the depth and emotional weight seen in the main campaign, leading to a disconnect with the characters and overreaching plot. The mission structure and objectives within Spartan Ops, some players felt missions often fell into predictable patterns and were very repetitive. lacking the depth and diversity necessary to keep the experience consistently engaging. With Spartan Ops' flaws, it was a fun journey to enjoy with friends that provided more hours of gameplay in the aftermath of the campaign. I mean, despite the flaws with Halo 4, I genuinely believe it is an underrated gem that received less credit than it deserved, especially when compared to Halo 5 and Infinite. I invested a significant amount of time into Halo 4. In fact, it was the very first Halo game where I managed to achieve maximum rank. The game had some thought and care put into it. The gameplay improvements, the stunning visuals, the innovative additions. Halo 4 is a game that has not been seen in like over 10 years. It is probably going to be a one of a kind. If you think I missed anything, please leave it in the comments below. Also, feel free to share what you liked about Halo 4 or what you disliked about it. And of course, if you disagree with me and you think it's garbage, I'd love to hear your perspective. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next commentary.